We'll probably have people ducking in for the next couple of minutes as well, but I will go ahead in the interest of time and kick things off here. So thanks for joining us for the PUC 911 Advisory Task Force Lunch and Learn for August. We appreciate you checking in with us and spending your lunch hour, and we are happy to have Justin Whipple here from Virtual Academy, and he's going to give us a little bit of training and then some overview of what Virtual Academy has to offer by way of training. So thanks for being here, Justin, and I will turn the floor over to you.
Thanks, Jennifer. I really appreciate it, and I really appreciate y'all taking the time out of your day to sit through and see all that we have to offer here through Virtual Academy. Jennifer's been gracious enough to give me some feedback on Colorado on how things are set up there, and she recommended that sitting through one of these lunch and learns would be the best way to kind of get our information out. Just kind of reiterating what she said, my name is Justin Whipple. I'm a regional manager for Virtual Academy. I have been with Virtual Academy for about 1.5 years now. Colorado is one of the 32 states that I cover with Virtual Academy. Jennifer has been outstanding to work with on getting information and talking to people and things like that. And I've loved every minute that I've dealt with people in Colorado so far. It's been one of my favorites when I've been there. I attended the conference back in the spring. I'm just hoping to, kind of get some information from you guys as well as we go through this on, what exactly are you looking for from a training for your continuing education training there in Colorado? What are your pressure points? What are things that maybe we can cover that can help you get your telecommunicators where they need to be? If you came in, you heard Jennifer and I talking about reclassification. Training helps with reclassification. The more you train your people and get them up to speed on being first responders and reacting to the situations that they run into every day on a daily basis, just further pushes home the point that we need to be reclassified, which I know you guys have already done in Colorado, but we still need it on a federal level because there's too many people that just aren't fitting the bill there. What I will say is I'm also a former PSAP director. So I was a director for 11 years in Benton County, Tennessee, which is here in West Tennessee. It was a very small center, very rural center. I can say that I was a Virtual Academy customer before I came to Virtual Academy. So I used us pretty extensively in our center because with our rural ability, it was better for us to have people do self-paced training there at the console as opposed to sending them out somewhere to do training and things like that. With that being said, with me being a former director, I've kind of been in your shoes. I see some of the things that you guys have to go through. And I also want to put out there that I don't want you to be shy during this call. I want you to speak up. I want you to interrupt me. I'm used to interruptions. I can go with the flow. I can ask questions as they come along. I want this to be a very laid back presentation where you can just ask what you need to ask. Tell me what your pressure points are. Tell me things that would be helpful. Any kind of feedback that you can give, I want it. I want to hear what you got. Shoot it to me there. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here with you guys. And if, Jennifer or somebody, if you don't mind just confirming that you can see it before I jump too far in. So I'm not going. Thank you, Jennifer. So what you guys are looking at here, I'm just going to give you a quick, I say quick, I'm going to give you an overview of our Virtual Academy platform and all of the tools and functions that come with subscriptions. Obviously, pricing is always a consideration and something that you have to think about. And if you want to, talk further about pricing and things like that, then you can obviously reach out to me after this call and we can have a conversation and such. But in the meantime, I just want to show you everything that you have the ability to do with our Virtual Academy platform and see just how it can enhance the training and the training requirements and everything that you have to do with your local agencies there. And I also want to put in your minds too, our platform is not just for 911, it's for public safety. So if you have, law enforcement officers in your agency that you need to get some continuing education training done on, or fire departments, or maybe some EMS stuff, We have stuff like that in our catalog too, and I'll go deeper into that here shortly. When you log into our platform as a user or an admin, this is the page that you're going to come to. It's a home page. On this home page, I'm going to show you just a few things that you have at your disposal to get you around where you need to go within the platform. You're going to have a left-hand navigation, which gets you to the courses and some of the tools that we have as part of your subscription with Virtual Academy. And I'm going to go a little deeper into each of these tools as we get along. In the center, we have an announcement board. Think of this like a Facebook post in a way. You can add announcements here, and you can give titles and put pictures and links and videos and all kinds of things in here that you wish to put. So if I scroll down just a little bit, you'll see the Kalahari window, and I don't think I actually said that right. It's a window that Kelly uses in some of her presentations here, so you can see what a picture looks like here in this. The other thing you can do with this is allow reactions and comments on any of these posts, which means if you want to post this out to your team, you can use it as a voting tool to find out how they feel about something that you're putting out there. You can see if everybody's in favor of it, not in favor of it. You can just get reactions, or maybe if you want to put something out here and get feedback on changes that need to be made to a certain document or something like that, you can let them comment on it and suggest edits and so forth. The good thing about our announcement board is that once you post an announcement, it will send an email to the user on file, letting them know that they have an announcement in Virtual Academy. And it gets them to log in and start seeing things that they need to take care of within the platform, which show up over here on your right-hand side under this to-do list. So things that'll show up here might be courses that they've been assigned to. It might be roll calls that they've been assigned. Depending on your subscription level, it could be policies that's been assigned to them to take care of. Any events that you put in the calendar feature that you see here will show up in the to-do list. Again, it's just a good reminder of all the things that you have to take care of when you come in under the to-do list. The calendar that I just mentioned, we actually have this small version and a bigger version that I'll go over here shortly. So we'll talk about that here in a minute. But again, you can add events and things to the calendar. And then finally, we have a notification section here, which allows you to get notifications from Virtual Academy. So this will be any kind of new course releases, any kind of site maintenance, things like that we do. We're going to put a notification in the notifications tab here. However, I'm sure most of you know this. We email pretty frequently, especially if you're a current customer. So you're going to get emails and marketing information from us on scheduled maintenance, on course releases and things like that as well. So it's not just a one-stop shop in the notifications here to get that information, but it's just an added layer so that you don't miss something there. Going over our top section up here, all of our sites, all of our users will have a profile. So you'll be able to set up a profile for each individual on their own, so they can come in and put some biographical information in, opt into cell phone notifications, pictures, change passwords, things like that. We have an internal messaging center where users can send and receive messages between Virtual Academy users. And similar to the announcement board, it will send an email to the user's email on file, letting them know they've got a message, and it gets them to log into Virtual Academy and check things that they need to do as well. I mentioned the calendar feature that we would talk about here in a minute. So here's the bigger version of that one on the home page. Under the calendar feature, you can come in and put in any kind of public events or private events. You'll also see any courses or roll calls that you've been assigned to in here. In the calendar, you will actually be able to link to, you'll be able to click that actual course and go straight to that course without having to search for it if you're a user that's been assigned to that course. So you can access the course from here. Any of these public and private events that you put in here, you can assign them, invite users to them. You can ask for feedback on them, all kinds of different things. I like to use the example of like any of your staff meetings, or if you're doing like some kind of dinner during telecommunicator week for your staff, for public events, you can put that in this calendar. assign it out to all your team members. They all get a notification. They can accept that and also set reminders up for themselves so that they don't forget about it. And everybody sees it in one spot. I know most people usually have some kind of calendar feature that they're using in some other program where they can see all this information. But it is an option that comes with your virtual academy if you choose to use it that way. And then our final thing that you'll see up here is a virtual academy help center. Our help center is based out of Martin, Tennessee, and it's 24/7, 365 support. The only day that we don't have somebody sitting in the help center is on Christmas Day. However, we do have people on call during Christmas Day. So that's why we still get to say 24/7, 365 support. You can submit tickets. You can call this 855 number here, or you can live chat with someone anytime, day or night, with any issues that you have, whether you are an admin or whether you are a user. This help desk is available to everybody that's a user within Virtual Academy. The other things that we like to provide in our help center are some how-to videos on how to do certain functions within the Virtual Academy platform. So you can see things like assigning roll calls or creating courses and such. These are all things that you can do within the platform, and this will just give you a short tutorial on how to do that. I'm going to go back to the homepage now. And before I move on to our next section, I just want to ask if there's any questions on anything I've gone over so far. I know most of this is pretty self-explanatory, but any questions before I move on to our next active courses section? All right, I'm not hearing any. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to jump into our active courses here. And under the active courses, I'm just going to talk a little bit about what we have available for you as part of a subscription to Virtual Academy, as well as just give you a quick overview of what a classroom looks like for a user, just so you can see what the self-paced module of it looks like. Now, talking about the active courses and what we have available, I mentioned that when you log into Virtual Academy, it's a homepage that, you're going to come to the homepage and all that. I probably should have clarified that earlier. When you subscribe to Virtual Academy, we create you a site that is specific for your agency. And so you are in control of the announcements that go out, of the courses that you assign to your people, of the reporting that you run, of your users that are in the catalog. Everything that is in Virtual Academy is site specific for your agency and your agency alone. It's not shared amongst any other agencies or users within Virtual Academy. It's just for you and you alone. That's it. The good thing about that is it allows you the ability to create courses and to create roll calls that you can assign out to your people. If you chose to create your own course, you could create a course. You can set it up however you want to. Once you set it up, you will have access to a certificate once they complete that course. Obviously, a grade book and assessments and things like that as part of the course. But it becomes part of your active course catalog that you see here. And so that course is always there available for you to assign out to team members anytime you want to. So let's say you get a new hire that comes in and you have a course that you've created on some policy or procedure that you do within your agency. You can assign that course to them and they can take that course right there in Virtual Academy, and you can get a certificate when they complete it. And it is, again, it's all inside of your active course catalog. What we do, though, on our end is we create courses for you based off of requests and information that we gather from our partners and from people out in the 911 industry. Jennifer knows this firsthand because she's seen us doing this. When we go to a conference, we're constantly watching sessions. We're constantly meeting with subject matter experts in the field, trying to find people that would be good subject matter experts for our classroom here or for our active course catalog. For instance, when I visited the Texas conference back in April, we found somebody to do a TTY TDD course for us. And so we're trying to get that set up because, again, that's one of those highly requested courses that people are always looking for. Everything that is in our course catalog is taught by a subject matter expert in the field. You'll see people in here like Jenna Streeter, JC Ferguson, just on the page that you see here. We have Tracy Ertl. We have Tracy Eldridge in our catalog. Michelle Lilly, who does a lot of our mental wellness and stability and resiliency courses, is in here. All kinds of subject matter experts in the field. What we do is we bring them into our Franklin, Tennessee studio. We film the course with the subject matter expert as the one who puts the course together. So we just film them doing their course. We do all of the post-production, and then we host it on our site once everything's good with that. That turnaround time for us is usually anywhere from 8 to 10 weeks, depending on how long it takes to kind of review it. We have multiple layers of review for that course as well. I happen to be one of those layers of review for the Now One courses. So once it gets to me, it's usually pretty much done. I just kind of make sure that it looks good. And then once it's good, it's usually on the site within a week or two. Everything that you see in here is self-paced material. So this is things that people can do at the console. They don't have to get it done within an hour or anything like that. They can take as much time taking this course as they want. So they could log in, start a course today, come back to it 3 weeks from now, and pick right back up where they left off if they wanted to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump into a classroom and give you a quick overview of what the classroom actually looks like for your users, so you can see some of the features that are available to your users. So we come in, the first thing you're going to see is a quick introduction that walks you through what to expect from the course itself. Sometimes if the subject matter expert has some additional info that they want to put here, it will show up. Typically it's this, just, hey, click your lesson, let's get started. So I'm going to click on my lesson, and I mentioned the self-paced part of our platform. So you're going to see a message pop up here asking me to resume at my last position. So if I click yes here, it's going to take me back right where I left off in this course here. And I'm going to let this video run for a minute so that you can see kind of what our videos look like there. So you're going to see all kinds of information in here. You'll notice that we also have closed captioning built in if you choose to do that. So I know in my center, my people loved the closed captioning feature because they could just mute their video, read along with it, and still listen for the radio traffic and the phone to ring and things like that. And so the closed caption is always helpful. We do have anti-cheating features built into our courses. Users do have the ability to skip forward through a video. However, our platform will recognize that they skipped this section of the video, and it will require them to come back and watch that section before they can unlock the assessment. Users have to watch 99% of all material in a course in order to unlock the assessment. And there is a status bar that the users will see to let them know what percentage of material they have watched prior to taking the assessment. So if they're looking at the status bar and it's at 90%, they know they're not going to be able to take that assessment. We do have some interactivity built in between sections here sometimes, depending on the subject matter expert. I'm not sure if there's one in between this section. We can look real quick. But once you get to the end of a section, there might be a quick question for you to answer. And this one did not, of course, because I'm trying to show it to you. But usually there is an answer or a quick question that you will just answer that you will answer to allow you to go to the next section there. So that your users are not just sitting there watching one continuous video for 1 hour and then rolling into the assessment. They do have to answer some questions before they move on to the next section there. All of our courses come with an assessment. So in this case, JC's course comes with a quick 13 question multiple choice assessment. And this is just a quick overview of what that looks like. Users will just come in, they'll take the assessment as needed, and they'll submit it when they're done. Whenever they submit this assessment, it will self-grade. So there's nothing that admins or training coordinators or anybody have to do with this. That's just another added feature of the self-paced course material there. All of our courses come with course materials. So this course here just has an objectives and outline from JC, which all of our courses come with. But if there's additional materials that a course has, for instance, we have a course by Dawn Shumway. It's called Say This, Not That. She has a sheet that literally spells out things to say and things not to say to Now One callers. And it's just an added document that's part of her course materials. Another handy feature that we have, though, is we have an upload tool here where admins can come in and upload any kind of documentation to this course that they wish, they feel is pertinent to the course. Once they upload it here, it becomes part of the course materials for every single user that takes this course going forward. So it can be a good way to get material out to your people at one time, especially if you are creating your own course. And let's say you're creating a course on your own policy or procedure. You could upload a copy of that policy there for them to read as they follow along through the course. So there's all kinds of options that you can do with that. All of our courses also come with certificates. So once a user completes a course, a certificate will be divvied out, and you'll see the ability to see that here. All of our courses will also show you the grade book with your grades that's made for each user, the completion dates and the statuses and such. We also give analytics, so you can actually look at what the assessment answers for the user. So for myself here, if I had taken this, I could view the analytics here, and it's going to show me all of the questions in the exam, and allow me to see what I got right, what I got wrong, so that maybe perhaps if you have that person that's struggling with to finish a course, you can provide some extra coaching there in order to get them through the course at the end. So I'm gonna step back for a second and go back to our home page. So any questions about the active courses, the catalog, the setup on that before I move on to the next thing? All right, I'm not seeing any in the chat and I'm not hearing any. So I'm just going to go over a couple other features that come with your subscription to Virtual Academy. And this is just a base subscription of what I'm going over right now. All of our sites will have access to resources where you can upload any resources that you use on a frequent basis, such as user guides, forms, policies, things like that. And this is just a house for your documents. So if you wanted to keep them all in one location, you can do that here. I mentioned roll calls earlier when we were talking about the calendar feature and the to-do list. We do also provide a set of 170 plus roll calls that are short refresher trainings on the current course catalog. The active listening course that we were just in with JC there, if I scroll down a little, you'll notice that we have an active listening for telecommunicators by JC Ferguson here in the roll call, and it's just a short 4-minute refresher. These are just acknowledgement-based courses. They have the same features built in that they do have to watch the entire video in order to acknowledge it, but it's just they just acknowledge it and move on to the next one if you assign them something. There's no test or assessment or certificate that comes with these. You'll also notice at the top there is a click to create and assign, meaning that you can also create and assign your own roll calls. So similar to the active course creator, you can also create your own roll calls to assign out to your people and just to get acknowledgement statements on certain things that you're trying to push out in a timely manner there. And then the final thing that your users and your admins will all have access to in our what we call our TMS or training management system subscription is going to be certification management. So users have the ability to track all certifications that they receive using our certification management tool. So you can see I've got a few in here from a few different people that I've put in. What this allows you to do is if you click new certification here, I'm going to open one up so you can see it. It allows you to give it a title. You can select a type of certification that it is, and you can see we've got a pretty extensive list of types in here to choose from. You can add a tracking type, which I'll cover more in depth here in about 5 seconds. We have the number of hours, when it was certified, when it expires, and you can even set yourself up an alert date as a user to be alerted prior to expiration. And that's where this tracking type comes into play. Admins have the ability to create multiple tracking types to track continuing education hours. So you can see here, I've got a TCPR tracking type that I've created. I've gone into our course catalog using this option here and found courses that go strictly towards this certification. So for instance, this course here, if I click this and hit save, now anytime a user that has this TCPR tracking type applied to a certification, when they take that course that I just selected, it will put that course down here in this continuing education bucket, letting you know that they've taken hours that apply towards this recertification and renewal when the time comes. Now you'll notice I've got a couple in here already. These are external trainings. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to hop over to my control panel. And so your admins are going to have the ability to also track any training that they take outside of the Virtual Academy platform. So you can see I've got a few in here that I've put in already. I'm going to open one up so you can see what that looks like. So you can see I've got a course name, the type. I've also got that certification tracking type that I just covered, the hours. I can put instructor info, any additional, and upload any kind of material here that I want. I can also apply that to any amount of users that I want. So if I sent 5 people to an in-person CPR, I can select all 5 people and put them in the list here. And I can even go into an individual, say they left a day early from a conference. I can change that from here and show that one person was there for 5 days and one person was there for 4, if I chose to do that as well. But what that does is if I apply this certification tracking type, it puts this course underneath that continuing education bucket that I just showed you there under that TCPR certification. That way you as an admin and the user themselves can track everything that they've taken so far that applies towards this recertification of this certification here. So at this time, that covers the training management system. We have a couple of other add-ons that I can breeze through real fast here in a minute. But before I do, I want to open it up one more time to any questions on the platform to see if there's anything that anybody would like to add there. So any questions on anything so far?
So I was telling Justin that this group is not shy. So don't be shy.
I think they're trying to make you out to be a liar, Jennifer. Just saying.
Maybe their mouths are full with lunch.
Yeah, maybe. Or I'm just doing too phenomenal of a job. So
that's totally it, actually.
Yes. Yeah. All right. So with that, I haven't seen any questions in the chat. I'm not hearing anybody say anything. Of course, just like I mentioned in the beginning, if you have any questions, you can reach out to me, and interrupt at any time. Maybe something triggers when we're looking at something else and you want to ask, go ahead. So I'm going to show you 2 other functions that we have in the platform here. And I'm going to breeze through this pretty quick, and then we'll go from there. So I'm going to go to our CTO function here. So a lot of people don't know this about Virtual Academy because this is pretty recent that we put this out, but we actually have a CTO program where users can come in and track daily observation reports, task lists, forms, things like that for new trainees. Of course, you can kind of set this up however you want. That's the beauty of ours, is it's 100% customizable for your agency. The good thing about this too is it's also integrated in to your current username and password for Virtual Academy. So you don't have to have a secondary email or username or login to log into another CTO software. All you have to do is log into Virtual Academy and you have access to the training management system, to the CTO program, and to the policy management, all in one fell swoop. Sorry, I saw the chat. It caught my eye for a second. So Chelsea, we purchased Virtual Academy at the APCO NENA conference and we're loving it. Great. I'm glad. I hope you are. If you're not, I would be worried. So I'm glad that you're loving it. Claire Moody with BCSO, can you talk about the cost at the end? Absolutely. We can have that discussion. I don't like to do that during group calls like this because it is kind of agency specific, but I can give you some general numbers for you to kind of talk about, or you can feel free to give me a call afterwards and we can talk about it one-on-one if you want to do it that way there. So in the CTO program, we actually give it to you in a couple of different views based off the level of access that you give people. So the users, again, come from the training management side that we just looked at here just a few minutes ago. And you as an admin or as the person in charge or the trainer or whatever have the ability to set this up however you want to with your people. So admins have this view here where they're going to see all of their current active trainees, and they're also going to see all of their current active training programs, and they'll be able to edit their training programs anytime that they want to. There's no restrictions there. You can do that anytime you want. You can set up your trainers to train people, and what they will see when they log in is just the active trainees that they've been assigned to train. So if I've only been assigned 2 trainees, I'm only going to see 2 trainees. I'm not going to see the other trainees in the agency if I've not been assigned to them. So I won't have access to their profile. I'll only see who I'm responsible for. And then finally, if I'm a trainee logging in, all I'm going to see is my profile, because why does a trainee need to see anything other than that anyway, right? So they're not going to see any of this left-hand information here. They're just going to see their profile. So I'm going to dig in real quick and show you the customization part of it, and then I'll show you a quick rundown of a trainee profile, and then we'll move on to the policies after that. So you can have as many training programs as you want. So you can see here that I can click this new program and add as many in as I want, and you can customize them however you see fit. I'm going to click edit here because the process is the same to edit a program or start a new one, whichever way. What we have done from Virtual Academy is we've actually pre-populated our program with a lot of information that you're going to see. So phases, shifts, DORs, skill sets, scoring, everything that you see is pre-populated, and it's all based off of APCO and what they do. That's kind of where we got the information from. Now, with that being said, because it's all customizable, if you already have something in place, you can easily put that information in, and I'll show you that here. So if I came in and I knew that I had additional phases, or I'm not using phases, I can always come in and say, hey, well, we only do orientation phase 1 and phase 2, and I can remove that phase. If I need to add something, I just hit a green button here, and I just add the text by clicking in the box there, like I did so. And then if I need to reposition it, I can grab the arrows and hold down and drag and reposition it like so. So again, if I need to change text, I just click in the box and change the text like that. There's no right clicking and hitting edit and going to the field that you need to edit or anything like that. It's all done right here in the setup. And you're going to see this format throughout every one of these categories that you see here. So that I'm not a broken record and repeating myself 4 times. I always like to throw that out there, that this is our format for editing. So we start out with basic info. So phases, shifts, program name. We then go into your DORs and other forms. So we start out with some signatures. Who do you want signing off? Your rating scale on how you're going to score your DOR. You can even provide feedback on certain scores. The skills that you want to score on. Any additional fields that you want to use in your DOR. You can also upload a standard evaluation guide here to be referenced in the DOR while you're scoring it. And then any additional forms that you're going to use, such as phase sign-offs, self-evaluations, and things like that, you can create or edit our current forms to mimic what you currently have. You also need to put in your CAD call types here. So we've pre-populated 171 of these, which is unfortunate because I know personally that no 911 center has the same call types as their neighbor next door. So you will have to do some customization here and some screen time putting these things in. But you're going to want to get these in here because these will be used in the DOR itself for the users or the trainee. And then finally, we have a task list. We have 200 tasks spread out amongst the 16 categories that you see here. And again, this is customizable just like everything else, where if you need to add more categories, delete categories, add tasks under a category, do whatever you want, you can do that there. The other thing that we allow you the options to do is actually edit the requirements of a task with this button here. And that allows you to come in and put in some training instructions and a document. And you can see here that I've uploaded a sample 10 codes document. What this does is anytime you pre-populate this information in the task list when you set your program up, is when a trainee comes in, once you assign them this task, they're going to have these training instructions and this document in their task already ready to go. You don't have to go search for that document. It's already going to be there ready for them. So you don't have to search for it. You don't have to go find it in the binder where you normally keep it or anything like that. Now, once you've built out your program, that then gives you the option to go in and add trainees and start managing your trainees from a trainer's perspective. So you can see here that I've got a trainee that's already started, and we start out up at the top with just an overview of where they're currently at. So you can see how many DORs, their hours, their task list, their shift, their phase, things like that. We start out on their task list. So if I open up the task list, I'm going to go to that 10 codes one so you can see that. So you'll notice that those training instructions are populated, so I don't have to type anything else in. You'll also see the documents here, just like what I showed you just a second ago. But there's a couple other options where I can also apply feedback in here. I can also add to this. So if I have something specific that I want to add for Indiana, I can do that as well. I'm going to hit save. I'm going to go back out, and I'm going to go to one that hasn't been signed off on. And that's what this will show you what one looks like that has not been pre-populated. And what you'll see is you can actually put instructions in here for Indiana or for this trainee. You can do feedback for this trainee. You can add attachments for this trainee. Everything that you see here is just specific to this one trainee and this one trainee alone. Because we all know that trainees have different learning methods, different learning styles, and such. So you might have to put in some specific instructions for individuals that might not match what you would do for another person. So you can populate all this information through the trainee, or you can pre-populate it either way. Once you're ready to sign off on a task, you just simply click the checkbox here, and that digitally signs this so that you know that this task has been signed off on. And that's what our digital signatures look like throughout the entire process. It's just a checkbox. Any of those forms will be done here, so you can add those forms in. These are pretty self-explanatory, so I don't like to dig into these too much because instead of you filling it out on a piece of paper, now you're doing it in the computer. It's really not that different. It's just reading the appropriate forms and filling it out as necessary. The DORs, though, that's what most people want this for, is for their daily observation reports. And we give it to you in a 3-month calendar view. And in this view, you have a few different things that you're going to see. Our yellow days, like the one that you see here, it means that we've got a DOR here, but me as the person that's logged in has failed to do something. So I've either missed a score, I've either missed a comment field, I haven't signed a box, something's missing on my part that I need to take a look at. Any of our white days, like this one here, means that I've done everything I need to do on my side. Now the other people need to finish. So it's not complete, but I've completed it from my point of view. And then, of course, our green days are any day that's been fully completed where there's a DOR. There's nothing left to do. I can have multiple DORs in a day. So if I select a DOR here, I can create another one and have multiple ones here if necessary. I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start another DOR so that you can see what one looks like. So I'm going to click Add DOR Form here. And you're going to see your DOR form pop up. So I mentioned the SEG, so you can view that here. So you can see here's my reference one for you to look at. I'm going to sign it just like before, put some hours in. And then to score it, you just simply click the scores as necessary like so. So you can see how easy this is. The other good thing about this is it's mobile friendly. So if you chose to do this at the console with maybe a tablet or a phone or device, something like that, you can do that as well. I mentioned that you can require feedback on scores. So I'm going to give one that requires feedback, and you'll notice that it instantly pops up feedback here. So I'm just going to type some feedback in. It also color codes all of our scores. So you can look at the trouble areas. So any of those areas where you are worried that someone might be struggling, you can come in and review it and look straight at the scores to see where those trouble areas are. I'm just going to provide a few more scores here just to finish this out. I'm going to type in some information here. Again, the comment fields are pretty self-explanatory. And then down here at the bottom is where you're going to apply those call types. So I'm going to add a couple in just so we can put something in. So we'll do traumatic injury, like so. And then we'll do one other call. That looks good, like so. All right. So I've got everything filled out at this point. So now I'm going to save this. I can export this out anytime and print it if I need to. So here's just kind of what that looks like here with your scores and stuff in it, your feedback, everything's in here ready for you to print. I'm going to close it. And so another tool that we have is our score trends tool here. And so if I open that up and scroll down, you're going to see a graph of each one of the skills as they work their way through the program. So you can kind of get an idea of where they're at, if they're making that progress that you need to see as they work their way through. And you can even pare this down and look at specific date ranges if you want to focus on, a week or a month, whatever it may be. The last couple of things that we got up here, the call log, these are going to be all the call types that they've worked on that's been tied to a DOR. So you can see the type, the number of calls, the date, and the report numbers if you need to reference those at any time. And then finally, you're going to see everybody they've been paired with, because in our system, you can pair someone with multiple trainers. And I know that's usually the case in most places. So you're probably going to have 2 or 3 people training someone. But you can pair them with multiple trainers and see how many days they've worked together based off of the DORs that are filled out. So every time a trainer signs a DOR, it puts them in this list with the number of days they work together. And then our last button here just exports their entire profile. So you get the task list, the forms, the DORs, the call logs, and the trainer pairing history, all exported out to a PDF ready for you to print off if necessary. So that covers the CTO program. Any questions on that before I jump back and kind of go over the policy management part real fast? I'm hearing silence. So I'm going to jump back to the virtual academy here. And I'm going to open up our policy program just real quick. And this is a little bit shorter. And I'll just go over a couple of things in this so you can see what it looks like. Our policy program just allows you to add policies, assign them out to your staff members, and get sign off on them. So I'm just going to view one so you can see what that looks like. So you can see from an admin perspective what it looks like. So you can give it a policy number, a title, an effective date, a review date. You can upload a copy of the policy here if you've got it in a PDF or a Word document, or actually it's a PDF or a JPEG, I should say. Here, you can put your policy in this section if you chose to do that, which I recommend, and I'll show you kind of why I recommend putting your policy in here as well. You can assign this to as many users as you need to. The good thing about ours is you get to select who you want to assign it to. So let's say you have a policy that's just strictly for your CTOs and you only want them to see it. You can assign it just to your CTOs, and they're the only ones that will see that and sign off on it. Nobody else will see that there. If you needed to assign it to someone else, though, you can click Assign Users here. You can find another individual at any time and click Assign. And then now that's enrolled that person in this policy as well for them to come in and take a look at it. So you can see that Indiana's been added to this. You can add assessments and create multiple questions on assessments. And this assessment here is just for them to acknowledge that they've read and understand it. So essentially, from a user standpoint, I'm going to review the policy. I then have to take and pass the assessment before I can unlock the acknowledgement statement to allow me to sign off on it. We have a reissue option, which allows you to reissue this policy. So I can come in here and make any changes that I need to. So I'll just add a word here. I'm going to leave my assignment part of it alone and hit submit. And so when I go back in and review this now, you're going to see that there's another revision in the list here. And if I open that up, I'll see the old version of the policy there. So I'm going to see every version of this policy that was in here prior to this, as well as who that policy was assigned to. So I can see that it was assigned to the 2 of them at that point. And then I will have the new version of the policy up here. So I can track how many times over time I've made changes to the policy. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to log out real quick because I'm just about done. I'm going to log back in as a user. And I'm going to go to our policy section here. And what you're going to see here is you're going to see an action pending in our agency policies. So action pending are all those policies that need to be signed off on. And it's a similar structure in the admin account. It's just that from a user standpoint, it's only going to be those policies I have to worry about. Whereas on the admin side, it's going to be everything. So I'm going to hit view policy here, and you'll notice the policy information, the PDF of that policy. If I scroll down, here's my assessment. And again, I have to take and pass this. So I'm going to hit false here, assessment passed. I can now acknowledge this by checking this box and hitting done. It drops out of my action pending, but it does show up down here as a policy that I can still reference at any time. Now I mentioned that I would put my policy in this section like you see here. So you can see how I've put the text for my policy in the policy information box. The reason why I suggest that is because we have the search feature here where if I search keywords, it's going to pull up any policy that has that keyword in it. So if I'm looking for contamination, or maybe if I've got a TCPR policy and I'm looking for agonal or something where I can't remember the name of the policy, but I know the word I'm looking for, I can type that in there. And if it's in that policy information section, it'll pull that policy up directly. So I'm going to log back out real quick, log back right in as an admin, go back to my policies. And if I look at that policy that was just signed off on, I should have an acknowledgement statement there, which I do. And so you can see what that is. And then, of course, I can always run a report on this to see who's done it, who hasn't, or send reminders to everyone or send reminders to individuals to say, hey, general nudge, you haven't done this yet. Please let's take care of it. That covers everything that we have to offer through the Virtual Academy platform. Any questions either on the policy management, the CTO, the platform itself, or just, you want to ask me, what my hair looks like when it's grown out, whatever it may be. Any questions whatsoever.
So Justin, I think Claire had in the chat asking about the cost.
Yeah, she did. Like I said, I don't like to go too deep into it in group situations like this, especially on the CTO and the policy management part, because our CTO and policy management is based off the total number of users that you have enrolled in Virtual Academy. So that cost obviously differs agency to agency, right? However, for the training management system, so just for the first part of that presentation that I did, that cost is $69 per user per year. So you just simply take the number of users that you've got, multiply it by 69, and that's how much it is. We are an online subscription service. So you're essentially subscribing to Virtual Academy for a year. So we, if you had 10 users per se, it would be $690 a year. You would pay that yearly subscription up front. And that would get you access to the catalog and everything that we went over in the first part for an entire year. The good thing about that is you're technically buying licenses to our platform. You're not buying users. So if you have a user that leaves and a new one comes on board, you can backfill that license with the new person. So our licenses are also interchangeable so that you're not having to go buy another subscription for the new person that comes in. All you have to do is just remove the old user and put the new user in their place. If, for instance, though, you are at 10 users and decided that you needed to be at 12, if you decided to do that, you can let us know. We will send you an invoice for the 2 new users. However, we will prorate that through the remainder of your term so that we keep your renewal schedule for all licenses the same. So if you were 6 months in and you added another license, then we're only going to charge you $34.50 for the 6 months remaining. We're not going to charge you the full 69 so that we keep everything the same there. Absolutely. Yeah. And if there's any other questions or anybody that wants to talk about this further, I mean, Jennifer, I'm sure can share my contact info with you guys, where you can reach out to me directly. I'll be glad to have a conversation, or if you want to, see the demo again, I can do that. I mean, you're going to be seeing the same thing we just showed, but I'm absolutely open to all help that I can do.
Justin, that's great. And if you want to put your email or your contact information into the chat, that's probably helpful.
Yeah, I'll do that right now.
And I know Chelsea from Lake County chimed in and said that they're using it in Lake County and loving it. Do you have anybody else in Colorado that is a customer that people could reach out to if they had questions?
Yeah, so I'm gonna stop presenting here for a second, and I'm gonna pull up my list just so I make sure that I get the right names. I know for a fact that we do. I just want to make sure I get the right people. But we have currently, I think, 12 or 13 customers in Colorado. For instance, we just signed on Lake County. We did that back in April, like she mentioned. There we go. Rocky Ford Dispatch with June Ferraro, I believe it is, uses us. Inglewood PD, Gunnison Regional, Estes Park, City of La Junta. I don't want to say that wrong. La Junta, however you say that. La Junta, Kit Carson, Teller County, El Paso County, Chaffee County, Delta County. So we've got several partners in Colorado right now. So you can absolutely reach out to them at any time. We also do, I don't know, Jennifer, you can help me with this one. I know there's, you guys have some telephone authorities out there in Colorado. If anyone here is with a telephone authority, I talked about some pricing there. If you're handling multiple 911 centers under one authority, we will work with you on some of that pricing for that, though. So you might actually get a better deal as a telephone authority supporting several agencies versus just one, if this is something you would like to do in a group situation as well. And so we can do some special deals like that for bigger groups of people at once there.
Great.
So I put my contact info in the chat there. So that's my cell phone number. You guys can call me anytime. My email address is in there. I see a couple familiar faces. I think I saw Michael come in, Michael Berry with Summit County. We just talked a couple weeks ago. Other than that, if there's any other questions, I'm open to answering them. If not, I really appreciate the time today and the ability to talk with everyone.
Well, we're happy to have you here. And again, last call for questions while we've got Justin. But while we wait for those to come in, I really appreciate you coming in and chatting and giving a great overview of Virtual Academy. I will post this on our task force YouTube channel, so people who want to go back and review it or missed it will be able to review that as well. And I'll stop talking and see if anybody has anything else to ask.
Okay. I'm seeing a lot of thank yous, so that's good. At least I didn't insult anybody, I feel like. So
no, and Jennifer, I'm on, so if anybody has questions, they can definitely reach out to me.
Great.
Hey, Jody.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
All right. Well, I appreciate everybody's time, and I appreciate your time as well, Justin. So thank you so much for being here. Yeah,
thank you so much for allowing me to come in and speak with you guys today. And Jennifer, thanks for the invite. And again, I look forward to speaking with you guys soon. If there's anything anybody needs, just feel free to reach out. All right.
Sounds great.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Good afternoon, everybody.